Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. He's Ken Thomson, SportsX Radio here in Las Vegas. Sunday night football, New England 3-0 against the Atlanta Falcons, and we've got an Atlanta Falcon team. They're coming in here at 1-2. They were basically a play away from going to the Super Bowl last year, and they're sitting at 1-2. Ken, a little bit of trouble down in Atlanta.
A lot of trouble if they lose this game. There is no doubt. You don't want to be 1-3. It's a lot better than 0-3, Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
It's our last video. I got to sneak that in there. By the way,
did that? Just kick a guy right in the old guy.
I got to let him slide too. I should actually, because Marco's been nice. You notice the hair is gone. I did lose that Fresno Boise State game. Again, another Chip Kelly move by Peterson. Let's go for two, down 17-16. But you know what? Here's the great thing. Remember what I told you on the videos last week. Taking Fresno State money line, came back and took Boise State plus 3.5 and 4. Worked out perfectly, got the middle, was able to pay for the haircut and move on.
Damn. What a guy. I got to say something, setting this one up.
Okay.
New England's 3-0. Okay, this is going to be your free pick. But when I looked at this game, the first thing that jumped out to me, I look at this schedule, and I always look at who teams played, what's coming up, and this and that. And when I looked at New England and 3-0, all that came out, I kept looking at it and I'm saying, you got to be kidding me. You had to start off
Buffalo.
E.J. Emanuel. Now I'm going to go deeper than that. E.J. Emanuel, Geno Smith, Josh Freeman. That's the three quarterbacks this defense has had to face. You've got two rookies that have shown flashes of okay so far, but they've shown a lot of flashes of rookie quarterbackness too. And then you got Josh Freeman, who's absolutely a train wreck right now. And somebody's going to go in Tampa. It's either going to be the coach or it's going to be Freeman. But somebody's not going to last the season.
Yeah, and they already made the quarterback move coming up. We're taping on Wednesday night here, and they've already said that Freeman's relegated to the bench for Mike Glennon, the youngster out of North Carolina State. So, I mean, Schiano's under the gun right there. And, you look at Tampa Bay and you look around some of these teams. Marco, this has been a weird 3 weeks. You could literally take Tampa Bay. Should have beat the Jets. Stupid penalty on David pushing Geno Smith out of bounds. Then they lose the game down the stretch against New Orleans with all the rain and the lightning and all that stuff by a deuce in the waning moments. They should have been 2-0 going into New England. Now they're looking at 0-3. They're sitting at 0-3. I mean, there's a lot of teams like that should have won games they didn't, and all of a sudden it starts manifesting. Next thing you look, you're like, wow, we just let two slip away, like Atlanta. Atlanta lost to New Orleans, had a chance, waning moments inside the Saints' 5-yard line, didn't get it done, lost the game against Miami, where they dominated that game, 37 minutes to 23 minutes time of possession, 5 sacks to none. I mean, every possible stat was Atlanta's, and they lose the game with 38 seconds to go.
Before I kick this to you, because this is your free pick, it's got to start to be alarming with Atlanta. They did this so many times last year where they have the leads and then they let teams back in games. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, last year they were surviving it, or Matty Ice was taking them back down the field for a last-second field goal or something. But last week it come back to bite them. They had the game won and they couldn't close it out. And I thought going into this season that Steven Jackson was going to solve that problem. He was the missing link, because now you got a back that when you are trying to run out a clock and end a game, close out a game, that's why the Steelers were always so good. They always had, when they had the bust, Jerome Bettis, you had a fourth quarter lead in Pittsburgh, your money. It was like, a stat when you bring the closer in the ninth inning, a team, if they're ahead after the eighth, they're phenomenal. That's the way the Steelers were when you went to the fourth quarter, because they had their closer. You give it to Jerome Bettis, and when you get to the fourth quarter, you're tackling that bull for 3 quarters. By the fourth quarter, you're tired of tackling him. You can't tackle him, and he's getting you those 3.5, 4 yards a carry and milking the clock and moving the chains.
There it is.
Atlanta couldn't do that last week to close out the game against Miami. That's my only concern.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but yeah, we'll see what happens in this one. But I'm feeling good about this play.
All right, let's make it official. This is Ken's free play for Sunday night.
All right, the Sunday night game. This is a good one. You actually have two marquee games. Sunday night, you've got New England at Atlanta, and then Monday night, nobody thought it would be as good as it is on the billing there. You've got Miami and New Orleans, both teams 3-0 somehow, some way. But when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they're coming in 1-2. This team should be 3-0. They should have won in New Orleans. They lose a 23-17 game where their defense really stepped up. Their offense, they were missing Roddy White that game. Douglas didn't play badly, but they found a way to blow it down the stretch as they had the ball inside New Orleans' 10-yard line. 4 cracks at it, could not get it in the end zone, lost by 6. Next game, they take care of business, and then last game against Miami, I was talking about it, 5 sacks to none, 377 to 285 as far as yardage, 37 minutes to 23 minutes. How about, here's where they got burned, 2 of 5, just 40% inside the red zone. You miss a field goal, you have a fumble, and you throw an interception. That won't get it done, and of course they lost with 38 seconds left. But when you look at Matt Ryan, Matty Ice is still Matty Ice, 909 yards already in the first 3 games, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 100.4 quarterback rating. I'll take that all day. All right, so I don't have Steven Jackson, but I have 2 outstanding receivers out of the backfield. Jaquiz Rodgers, he did a lot at Oregon State. Snelling as well, an excellent receiver, already has 10 receptions for 116 yards out of the backfield. So give me those 2 guys. That's fine. Keeps the defense off balance. I finally have Roddy White healthy. He'll be back in there. Douglas already has stepped up nicely with 9 receptions. Tony Gonzalez needs to get the ball a little bit more, has 11 receptions, but short patterns, only 93 yards, has the 1 touchdown. The main guy, the workhorse on the wideout spot, we expected was going to be Julio Jones, already 27 receptions, 373 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Atlanta. I think they take care of business. You look at their schedule, New Orleans, St. Louis, and Miami, 3 physical teams. They were able to take care of business just once on the scoreboard, but in all 3 of those games, again, they had opportunities to win and put the other team away. They did not, and they will be focused. This game is at home. It's inside a dome against a team that comes in from the outdoors that could easily be 1-2. This New England team, they stole the game against Buffalo with that field goal late. They didn't really play well enough to beat the Jets, but the Jets were inept at best on offense, 13-10 in a rainstorm. But Brady, again, yelling at his teammates, not looking like the same Tom Brady that we've seen in the past. Now, they did distance themselves from Tampa Bay and win that game by 20 points. But again, it's only because Tampa Bay's that inept on offense with Freeman, and that's why he got benched in favor of Glennon this week. Brady, 57.5% pass completions. When the heck do you ever remember Brady being under 65%? 57.5% against those 3 teams? That's pathetic. Why? Because he really doesn't have the marquee pieces that he needs to get the ball to. You still have Edelman, who's not bad. He kind of jumps in there in the Danny Woodhead spot and is one of those versatile guys, kind of like a Jose Oquendo from the St. Louis Cardinals, a guy that can just about do everything. Belichick always seems to have those guys. Tompkins and Dobson, they've stepped up. They've done okay. Dobson's actually starting to make some catches and hold on to the ball. Defensively, New England, very impressive. Mayo, Gregory, Ninkovich, they just signed him to a contract extension. Tommy Kelly, I like. Hightower, Jones already has 3 sacks. These guys are playing pretty well defensively. They're going to keep New England in some games that if they played any type of offense in their first 3 games, again, New England, as stagnant as Brady and that offense has been, they could easily be 0-3 when you look, because they've only scored how many points a game? 18.6. That's all the Patriots have averaged in the first 3 games. When do you ever remember a Patriot team, especially with 2 of those games being on their home field, scoring only 18.5 points a game? So I look at this game, Atlanta, not only are they going to win this game, they're going to win this game big. And I know to say that against New England, you're thinking, no way, Ken, New England never gets beat. Now, Gronkowski may come back. He may play sparingly. He's 50-50 right now to go. But you don't have Shane Vereen. That's a big loss. And again, there's still not a lot of depth in that wideout position. Again, the defense, if they can get after Matt Ryan and create some turnovers the way some other teams have, then Atlanta could be in trouble. But I see Atlanta taking care of business, dissecting that New England secondary, taking care of business in a big way. Why? Because they're 1-2. They need this game. You will get their best effort, as my buddy Chuck Edel would say. You're going to get Atlanta Falcons' best effort. New England's 3-0. Do they belong 3-0? No, but psychologically, they'll go into this game, one on paper, that they could actually have marked down as a loss. A lot of fans in New England, you don't expect them to go 16-0. This is one that I think everybody looked at the beginning of the year because Atlanta was so close to going to the Super Bowl, that as good as New England is, they're beat up, tight end position without Gronkowski and Hernandez, don't know what you're going to get offensively. So, Marco, I think New England's up against it. I not only think Atlanta's going to win, I think they're going to win by double digits.
All right, well, there you go. Ken says to take Atlanta Sunday Night Football. I know the Atlanta Dome, the Georgia Dome, will be rocking on Sunday night. I'll be tuned in to watch. I think it'll be a great game, and we'll see what that New England defense is actually made of. Because, like I said, they have not faced an offense that really had a threat that could stretch the field. And one thing I got to say, Atlanta, because of the way they have blown these games late, I think it's going to get to a point that when they do get leads, they're not going to take their foot off the gas because, you know, you can't keep having teams coming back on you. You're going to have to keep the pedal to the metal.
I agree, pal. And they were a little hesitant to push Roddy White coming off the injury. I think now he's full speed ahead.
All right, there you go. That wraps it up for us. Have a great week, guys. Cash a lot of tickets. The Tuesday crew, our opening act, they'll be in on Tuesday next week, getting the games for you. Then we'll be in Wednesday doing it all over again. Have a great week. He is Ken Thomson. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. Talk to you next week. Pregame.tv.